I could speculate and say this could be a good opportunity for Inmusic to acquire the company. I could speculate and say this could be a good opportunity for Inmusic to acquire. I could speculate and say this could be a good opportunity for Inmusic to acquire the company.
Hey, what's up? This is Dilio, and this is the reason why I retired my machine.
All right, guys, so it's finally been announced. Native Instruments has been acquired by Inmusic. And as you saw from the clips I put in the beginning of the video, I don't even have to say any more after that. But this is a very interesting turn of events because I wonder how it's going to integrate in the ecosystem that's already been created by Inmusic. Like they virtually have everything now. Like it's almost Monopoly-like. But I am excited to see what comes up with these different layers of plugins and things coming together. So let's talk about a little bit about what Inmusic acquired. There's 4 brands that I saw on the Instagram post, and it was some different brands. So we all know about Native Instruments. They make plugins, software instruments, and they are making hardware. Not quite sure how they're going to move forward with the machine after this point. Isotope, they have a lot of good plugins for restoration and mastering. Really nice plugin suite there. You got the Premier Plugin Store, Plugin Alliance, which has a lot of plugins that you might not know about. A lot of really cool plugins on there to check out and see. And they can implement that onto the MPC if they wanted to, probably now. I'm speaking way ahead of what they're even talking about because I don't even know what they're talking about. And they also have Brainworks. And what I could see from the Brainworks brand, they have a lot of high-end, like I saw like the Dark Horse Mastering Suite looking plugin up in there. I was like, imagine fitting that on an MPC screen. And so all these cross-pollinations of brands and ideas. And also it's sort of a reflective time here because on the corporate side, there are people getting jobs, losing jobs, or moving laterally. Us as the end user we just see brands. Whoa, what's going to happen here? But under the hood, inside the corporation, inside the offices, inside those team calls and those all hands meetings where they sit down and they talk about, okay, this is what we're doing. That's the stuff nobody knows about. Okay, you can look at all these YouTube producers, whatever. And I don't want to say that in jest or anything minimal about that. But I know for a fact we don't sit in the meetings that take place in these offices right here. We just see the products. We don't see the rooms. We don't see there's a whole nother layer to this that we don't know about. But I just find it very interesting. And, to me, this sort of explains the reason why there really wasn't much support going on up to this point for the Machine platform. I think the Machine Plus was sort of like that final, all right, we're just gonna give it a shot and see what happens. And it didn't quite pan out the way that I think that they would have liked it to. The MPC Standalone is a tough product to follow behind as far as how feature rich it is, how deep it is, which I could appreciate that. But then on the other side of the spectrum, I can appreciate on how simple the MPC sample is. That thing's a lot of fun, and I like just sitting and mess with that and just chopping samples. So they got like both sides of the spectrum covered, from your top end, high price, high tier units to your entry level, cost friendly MPC sample. And all these ideas and concepts could be implemented into all this stuff. It still remains to be seen. From my perspective and from my experience up to this point, I do think about those who are in the corporate side of all this, the office space, just this, the meetings, just all that stuff that's going on underneath the hood that we don't see. There are private documents and private slide decks that are going on right now talking about all this that we don't see or know about. But I'm excited for the future with that. And I hope that the staff across the Inmusic umbrella, because it's a large umbrella now, there's movement and shifting going on. I wish I knew. But I'm pretty sure there's talks and there's changes going on. There's just new positionings opening. There's positions closing just from that corporate world that we don't see. We're the end user customer here. I get that, but I can't, being exposed to what I'm exposed to now, I can't think of not really acknowledge that side. And it's tough because I don't know what's going on that side, but I do know that communications are being had. Definitely saw this coming, and I do. But do I know the intricate details of it? No, I'm not going to pretend that I know. What do you think? Let's start the conversation again. What do you think this means for you as the end user? What do you think this means for the machine user? For those who are dedicated to the platform. I myself was a dedicated machine user, really hardcore. And for a time, I thought that Native Instruments had the software, hardware combination thing locked down for a time compared to the Renaissance. I wasn't even a fan of the Renaissance at the time when it first came out. And I was like, oh, I'm getting with Native Instruments because they're doing this the way that I like it done, you know. But then times changed where I saw the platform not getting the same support as I saw other platforms happening over the years. Like I watched this happen, and that sort of made me less affiliate to it because, like, yeah, I like this, but man, they're not really up. And I used to go, and that's the thing. I used to be one of those guys that used to kind of complain about a platform over and over again until I grew out of it. It's something like it just goes like this. And I liked what Bolo said in one of his videos. Shout out to Bolo. It said, typically, if you don't like something, you just don't talk about it. And for a while, I didn't like Machine, and I thought that got me content and all this other stuff. And I was having fun. I was learning my way. But after a while, it's like, you know what? Me talking negatively about this platform isn't going to change anything. And so I stopped. And I left it alone, and I just moved on to something else that I felt like was a better fit for me, that better could complement my capacity for making music. And I did. And so I just stopped trying to this is bad and something like that. And one trying to talk about how bad. I just don't talk about it. I mean, I might have mentioned it a few times, like while I'm retiring, but I'm just saying, hey, this is where I'm at in the game. And honestly, when I was doing that, I was just hoping that somebody else might feel the same. And if somebody didn't feel the same, that's fine too. Nothing wrong with that. But I'm very curious of how things are going to move forward. In the meantime, I'm just going to keep making music, keep making videos, and continue to use these tools that we have. And I'm very curious to see how this all cross-pollinates with each other, because anything can happen at this point. And I will take an optimistic stance and say I look forward to it. And I hope you are too. And if not, that's fine. And I'll see you on the flip side. All right. You're watching Delio T2K.